Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your favorite gentleman, Dapper Douglas. I got a special guest. I got my guy, Don Potter. Welcome back to Gentleman's Corner. My guy, thank you so much, man, for your time.
Absolutely, brother.
This right here is a pleasure for me. I ain't even gonna hold it. Tell me how we got here.
Man, listen. From day one, I moved here in 1990. I mean, not 1990. Let's rewind it. That's 1974. And when I got here, I went to the first barbershop I went to became my barbershop home, and that was Carol's and Everybody at 22nd in New Jersey. We used to call it the Little Blue Barbershop. That's the place where the mindset was honed, and I felt like I was born to do it because the first time I got there, I walked in, had really never had a haircut. I always had a little teeny weeny afro. We call them TWAs, you feel me? So when I got to the shop, I never really wanted a haircut, but guess what? It was so fresh. When I walked in, it was 3 chairs and a shoe shine booth. It was Mr. Ron on the corner. In the middle was Mr. Campbell. He owned the shop. And then on the far side, there was 2 barbers. One we called Ben the Butcher, affectionately, because he wasn't very good, but he was like the enforcer. You feel me? And then there, in and out of that chair, Mr. Campbell shared a chair with another gentleman, and I forget his name because he was a Muslim guy, but he was super dope, super cool. Mm-hmm. So for me, it was all about the visual element, the way that the barber shop looked, and it was super small. It wasn't a big shop at all. So it wasn't about the building. It was about what was going on in the building. You know what I mean? So you walk in, Mr. Ron's right there. He controlled the tempo with the boom box. You feel me? So he's playing 8 tracks and stuff and setting the tone. Isaac Hayes, you know what I mean? Ohio players. He's playing that stuff. But also, it was the TCB smell of the hairspray, the aftershave. You know what I mean? And the way he just worked it like meticulously on afros and leaning people. It was no rush back then. You know what I mean? Haircuts was $2, $3. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like he was rushing to get $1 million. He was just enjoying the craft. Mm-hmm. And as I grew and the more I went to him, I started to enjoy the craft as well. You know what I mean? I started to see how they would make people feel when they got up out their chair, the love that was displayed. You know what I mean? The dap that was given Dapper Douglas. You feel me? He was given, everybody that left there, they got his best.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And slowly but surely, I'm like, I never cut hair before. Mm-hmm. But I knew that I was about 7 years old. So I already knew in my heart of hearts, that's what I wanted to do because it felt like an art. It felt like an art form to me, the way the transitions were happening and the transformations were happening. So one day, we'll fast forward about five years. In between there, he said, "Hey, young man, you want to make a couple dollars?" I said, "Well, yeah, you know what I mean? A couple dollars, that's some money to me." So he said, "Sweep up." He said, "Take that broom, sweep up. When you get through sweeping up, grab the mop up, clean the bathroom." I was like, "Okay, cool." He said, "Can you do it?" He said, "I don't want you to have, but I need you to do it right." Gotcha. My mom had OCD, so I already knew what it meant to clean up. So I'm cleaning up. He said, "Well, man," he said, "you do a good job." I said, "But I want to do what you do one day." And he was like, "You want me a barber?" I said, "Yeah." And he said, "I could tell, because guess what? I wouldn't let nobody else cut my hair. I'd wait for him. I don't care. My mother could come pick my brothers up and leave. I'm gonna sit and wait. I'll be the last one, because it's free." But he didn't cut, any of the steps out. You see what I'm saying? He would lay me back and give me the whole work, even though I ain't did everything, man. And I enjoyed that. While he playing Ohio players and all this other good stuff, and I'm Al Green, and I'm listening to this stuff, you know what I mean? And it's getting embedded in me. But I also hear him taking care of people and telling people who to go to get this, and tell them Ryan sent you, or tell them Mr. Campbell sent you. I'm listening to these things in the way they operate. So not only am I watching the visual element, I'm letting the true art of barbering sink into me. So as I'm letting that sink in, I get deeper with it. I'm like, man. So one day, one of the guys in my neighborhood, he came and said, "Man," he said, "you're an artist, man." He said, "Can you cut my hair?" I was like, said, I can, but I don't have no clippers. He said, my brother got some clippers. His brother was in the Marine Corps. Shout out to John Mitchell, first person to let me cut his hair ever without nobody around. You know what I mean? So he was like, hey man, listen, this is what we gonna do. I'm gonna run down here and get these clippers. I'm gonna come back. So he brought them back. And they were some Oster 76, the classics, but we called them dog shears back then. But he only had one blade, and that was the one that went bald. He said, man, I said, well, I haven't seen them putting those things on here. I said, you don't got none of those? He was like, nope. He wanted a Mr. T. Perfect. So I'm talking about, I get in there and I'm just nailed him. His mother gave him $6 to go to Floyd's barbershop. Shout out to Floyd's barbershop. Rest in peace, Mr. Floyd. He went up there. He said, man, listen. He said, that's the best haircut I done had. So he took the $6. He kept 4, gave me 2. That was the first time I ever made any money off a haircut. So now, on top of already having the passion to do it, I've been compensated. On top of me learning the craft throughout going to the barbershop. See, I'm sucking this up. I'm ground level. I done learned how to clean up the bathroom how they want it. I done learned how to sweep. I done learned how to clean off the clippers, wipe off mirrors. I was like, man, I'm sitting there like, I got $2.
Right.
I got $2. I was rich. You feel me? So fast forward, about a couple hours later, his father gets off work, get a knock at the door. I go downstairs and he's like, hey man, how you doing? I said, hey, how you doing, Mr. Mitchell? He was like, man, listen, you did a great job on John John's hair. He said, man, you gonna get me killed, me and him. He said, his mama not getting ready to play that. He said, you need to cut that off. I said, well, I can't. I don't have any. He said, take them same clippers. He said, cut his hair. I said, well, it's bald. He said, I know, cut him bald.
Wow.
I was like, whoa. So when I did that, he crying, and I'm like, his father said, hey man, here, take this $5. So now, I done made 2 earlier, and his father gave me 5 to ball him out. I said, hey bro, I understand, man, but Bobson gave me this 5.
And I gotta respect his
I got
orders.
Them were orders.
Right.
He just compensated me even more on top of it because he knew time was money. So he told me, he said, listen, he said, I just don't want him to get in no trouble. I can explain him having a bald head, but I can't explain him walking around here looking like a heathen. So I took it and we knocked that out. So that was that part. So I couldn't decide after that if this is the route I wanted to go. I didn't know that people made barbering a career. I knew all of these things, but yet I didn't know that barbering could be a career. So after high school, I wanted to go to college, wanted to go to the military. These are all things I'm thinking that these are things that people say that you should do. But in my heart of hearts, I knew none of that was for me.
Right.
But all along from junior high to high school, and in between, maybe about 12, my mother asked me what I wanted for Christmas. You know what I asked for?
Oh, a clipper set.
Absolutely. And from that point, it was all the way up. I grew in reputation, not just because of my athletic prowess, but because of the clippers. People were like coming from all Arlington, Howe, Broad Ripple. You know, I was at Washington. I was cutting almost the whole school. There was certain people that wouldn't let me cut their hair because they had barbers, and that was respect. I understood that. But I knew that I was on to something because it was a couple of dudes in school that they had pristine waves, was always crispy. When they started asking me to cut their hair,
Then it was legit.
I was legit. Yeah. You feel me? So, you know, I took all of that to say this. Once I got to, it was a difference between college and the workforce. I ended up, you know, having my oldest daughter as a teenager. So a lot of things got cut out that didn't afford me the opportunity to really get immediately to where I wanted to go. And I always saw barbering being the thing because I always stuck to it. And as much as I tried to run away from it because I thought that wasn't a career, got in barbering school in '87, and I started to see the respect people give you when they know. I ain't gonna say think, when they know you good. got in there and it was about 4 or 5 dudes. Like when I walked in and the first few days I was there, I couldn't really cut no hair because they make you, you know, kind of wait, but they'll ask you, can you cut? So what I did was I had to wait like everybody else, but I only had to wait about a week because what happened was the guy said, well, let me see what you can do. Mm-hmm. He said, I'm curious to see, you said you can cut a little hair. I said, yeah. So I went, got somebody's clippers, got out there on the floor, and then I just started hearing the chatter. Hey man, that dude nice. And these were the older dudes, legit older dudes. I was like 18, these dudes was 35, 40, 45, you know what I mean? And they was like coming over and like, how you do that, man? How you do that? So at that point, I'm like, okay, I might be all right. I'm like, you know what I mean? So me learning the business part of it through going to school started to really increase my confidence in the level of which I thought about it as a business, thought about me as a young man, thought about me as a barber. And at that point, everybody started to respect me in school. The teachers, you know, the people in the office, they was like, man, this little dude is nice. And they kept telling me, man, you gonna be nice, man. You gonna be all right. But of course, when you're young, you ain't never really had nothing. There are levels to that. That was a whole nother level growing. So as I went to shop, once I got my license, I knew that I was meant to be a shop owner, not necessarily just a barber. So I waited my time and waited my options. I got out of school in '89, and I worked for 4 different shops. Shout out to the first shop I worked at was Robert's Barbershop on Lafayette, 2444 Lafayette Road, but they're no longer there. They're on West 16th Street. I can't remember the exact address. I wish I had it so I could give it, but shout out to Robert's Barbershop.
Yeah, I'll put that somewhere at the bottom, man.
Yeah, and he was one of the best and most influential people to me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? At the time, you know, he wasn't like, quote unquote, the greatest barber, but he was a great man. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And he pulled me under his wing, and he was one of those people. He knew me when all I wanted to do was fight. You see what I'm saying? Because it was a lot of anger and aggression in me, you know, growing up without a father and, you know, kind of being shuffled in between my mother and my grandmother. But he knew, he just saw it, and he kept kind of pulling out the best of me. And then I worked for Kenny's Barbershop. Well, prior to working at Kenny's, I worked for Angie's Barbershop. She's the I don't care what nobody say, Angie Brasher is the coldest female barber I've ever seen in my life. No enhancements, no enhancements. The crispiest afro, that's where I learned to do a wicked afro from. You feel me? My bald fade, I learned from her. You see what I'm saying? How to take out those lines and do them. Listen, I ain't gonna get into Angie Brasher, but shout out to Angie Brasher. You feel me?
Somewhere down there, yes, man.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to hear like the cream of the crop in the state.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
But go ahead.
And then I worked for Greg Kenny. Shout out to Greg Kenny. I didn't understand a lot about him initially, but he was one of the pioneers of the barbering game here in this city, and maybe even in America, North America. People really don't know because he's different. I'll just put it like that.
And that's why I wanted to come sit with you. Hopefully I can get that plug with Mr. Kenny.
Yeah,
because I'll definitely want to sit down with him.
He'll tell you about me. He knows the truth. You know what I mean? Like, he knows the truth, and I ain't afraid to have him talk to you because he knows the truth. Because he ain't gonna tell you no lie about me.
Most definitely.
He'll tell you anything. We ain't really not get along. We didn't get along, but he respected me because he knew. He looked up one day and I was there, and he was like, "This is a young dude, nice." You feel me? So shout out to Greg Kenny. Never not no love. You feel me? But I had to do my thing. You see what I'm saying? And I told him, I said, I'm gonna be around, and he fired me. You know what I mean? But and rightfully so to a certain degree, because he felt as if I was shaking his business up. But I'm a realist, and I ain't gonna let you do nothing fake to me that I feel like is gonna affect my realness. You see what I'm saying? So we bumped heads with that. Still respect. Did photo shoots with him. You know what I mean? He'll tell anybody that he bumped into, I was the one that got away. But he didn't give me the opportunity to grow. He was so busy doing what he was doing, and I respect that.
Right.
He just didn't see the flower that I was. You feel me? So I moved on to KJ's. KJ's on 38th and Hillside. Shout out to Curtis Haskins. He just wasn't very good at business. And you know what I mean? And I had to let him know that. You know what I mean? I'm gonna always speak up for what's right.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
He wasn't paying the bills and doing different stuff like that, and I ain't hiding that because everybody know that.
Gotcha.
You dig what I'm saying? So I ain't gonna speak on nothing that I don't have no fact about.
Hey, that's
you know
why
what I
I'm
mean?
here. I knew I was gonna get the real with pie.
And then once I left him, I went to Not Just Fades. That's Mike Allen. Me and Mike went to barber school together. Mike was a good friend of mine, and I don't use that word was, like me and him aren't cool, but we worked together and we had a little something, you know what I mean? He did a couple things that I didn't feel like were necessary, but I kind of took it because I knew what the next level was for me. You feel me? So we moved on from there, and from that point in 1992, I said, you know what? I'm gonna go do my own thing. I'm not gonna keep letting people dictate my tempo. You know what I mean? I ain't no point guard, but if I'm gonna be on my own team, I'm gonna have to run certain things. And anybody that's a business owner, in my opinion, is a point guard. So they running the team. I don't care how big he is. Most of them don't bring the ball up court. Most of them don't have handles. Now, in today's game, maybe they have enough, but not to be ripping and running and doing all that, posting people up. They have good IQs, but I know I had to be a point guard. I knew I had to get the game set up, get the right people on my team, and start getting the ball to different people. Now, it took me a while to really put those things into play because I didn't understand how chemistry works. So you can't just have anybody. You see what I'm saying? So this is a gem for y'all. If you're starting any barber shop, be patient. Don't set your shop up with 10 chairs trying to hurry up and fill them. Don't get no shop with 10 chairs out the gate if you're brand spanking new, because that doesn't put you in the mindset of learning. That puts you in the mindset of earning. Feel me?
I feel you.
So for me, I was small barbershop at first. I had about 4 chairs in that joint, and then we kind of grew. And things started to transpire because of the level of intensity and the level of quality that I brought to the business. And once I moved, my first shop was in my old neighborhood. How smart was that?
Come on now.
Right down the street from Carol's and everybody's. You see what I'm saying? So you got to know about placement.
Yep.
See what I'm saying?
Placement is key.
And if you out here just trying to fill up area chairs, this shop I got 10 chairs in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I've never been in a position to have such a cool group of people. Going through, you're gonna lose a few. And I understood after a while, because initially everybody, I would be upset at people for leaving, and not because I felt like they had to be with me forever, but it's about the way people leave. I don't mind leaving, but sometimes people don't know how to leave properly. So don't put yourself in an earning situation before you had your learning situation. That is the key gem. You feel me? Because some of y'all gonna come out of certain situations and y'all not gonna really know how to manage, because you don't go to barber school and learn business management. You go to school and learn professionalism and how to be a barber. If you don't take those classes to learn how to manage, then you're gonna fall short, because that's one of the key elements of having a barbershop, is learning how to manage people, egos and people, and this going on and that going on. You have to deal with people in different ways. And I didn't learn that until later. People don't know how to come to you. Back then, like I said, all I wanted to do was cut hair, get the girls, and have a fresh whip.
That's it.
That was it, man.
That was it.
Life was simple. You know what I mean? But as I grew, I had to take, and people know me from going around these battle competitions. Back then, I was a monster. And that ran a lot of people away, because what they thought, they equated winning competitions. I had all my little trophies sitting around, but they equate that to, he good, I'm scared to work with him. Now, you the barbershop owner, but you going out beating everybody, taking folk money, getting all the prizes, you feel me? And you expect people to come work for you. What are they gonna think? They're gonna think, man, he good. If I go over and work with him, he gonna take some of my clients. That was the farthest thing from my mind. I'm just trying to take some of your money out your pocket off the business part, not anything else.
That's it.
So I had to, from that point, start to regroup and start to think, okay, do I want to be the best battle barber in the world, or do I want to be the best shop owner in the world? In my opinion, the latter would last me longer. So I said, I'm gonna focus on being a better shop owner. So I started paying attention to all the details and how to make myself better. I knew it was things I needed to change, cussing in the barbershop, drinking in the barbershop, all of that good stuff, smoking. I'm being honest. I did all of that stuff, but I was a youngster. Mm-hmm. I'm not no vet. I've been this 36 years. Come November. I wouldn't have lasted this long doing that stuff continuously. Everybody says most of the time it's just a phase. Well, if you're not wise enough to phase that stuff out, it's not a phase, it's a lifestyle. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So for me, in order for this to be culturally correct and make sense to me and for me to grow, I started to think ahead. I started to think beyond the cutting part of it, and I said, okay, how can I be more advanced at this than I am without really taking me out of where I want to be with my people as contemporary? I said, we gotta show love. Yep. Show love. So I became a little easier with a lot of things, and I tried to be more understanding. This business is something. This is an offer. We work for you guys, but we done turned that around. Y'all owe us something. Now we can really get into the money. A lot of these dudes, man, I ain't gonna say that they not good, but there are different levels to being good. There are different levels to the money. You feel some type of way. You got on some nice Air Forces, so you there was a day and a time, and I'm sure you purchased those yourself. Mm-hmm. So you earned that. Right. But you are a product of what you wanted when you were a kid. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Yep. Most of us could get what our parents could afford. Mm-hmm. Or you could get what your mother and father told you were going to get.
Right. And we experienced each one of those.
Each one of them. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So now you get to the barbershop. Now everybody ain't as good as they say. Based on the proper presentation of the professionalism. And you go in the shop smelling like weed, there's a bunch of cuss music on the radio. I ain't paying top dollar for that. Right. I'm just not. Even if that's what I listen to in my car, I'm not, social media world, I'm not perfect. Right. But what I will say is I strive for perfection, but I understand I'm gonna fall short. Yep. So I do my very best. I don't play nothing but good stuff in here. We got a vibe. Right. But guess what? I came from the earth with it. I came from the earth. I was born to do this. Plus, I was birthed into it by my ancestors. By the Mr. Ron, Mr. Campbell, being the butcher. These are the people that I looked at on what not to do, what to do, how to, and so forth and so on. Mm-hmm. Some of these dudes don't have it. They got into it because they saw me barber. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of barbers in this city. Y'all know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of barbers in this city that walk behind these footprints and these blueprints. Even some of your favorite barbers done sat in my chair when they was kids and was inspired. Mm-hmm. And I love that. But that means I can pull up on them though, because I got a relationship with them. So if I see them doing something that they ain't supposed to be doing on social media out here in general, I just pull up on them on the real, and they know when OG pull up. They know it's either love or a problem. Mm-hmm. And most of them know what I'm pulling up for. So if you're gonna do this thing that we call barbering, you have to realize and understand that we're no more important than the trash man. How would it be if your trash was left at the crib? We come outside and the trash man missed us though.
Oh, we ready to fight. We calling, hey, they just skipped the block.
You hear me?
The whole neighborhood stink. What's up?
Just like that. So we think that we're more important. We do give people a sense of pride. We do give people a brand new attitude. But what's the cost really? Mm. You see what I'm saying? I know that times have changed, but it ain't changed that much. Right. In my 36 years, I have a price that it's going to take, and there's a standard to my price, but there's also the additives and the preservatives. What they want to do is they want to take all of that and say, you're going to pay me for all of this, but I ain't giving you all of that. Mm. You want all of that. But I'm not giving that to you as a barber. These dudes want $50, $60 fresh out of barber school. You don't even know the professionalism of it. I'm gonna keep it 100 because that's what I do. Because I don't care what people say. Because I can stand on the information that I'm dishing out, and I can stand on my knowledge, and I can still stand 10 toes with those clippers with anybody. I don't need no competition. But they know what it is. Some of them won't be able to grace behind the chair as long as I have for 1, 2, 3 reasons or another. One, mainly because they just don't got it. Number 2 is they don't want it. And number 3, they not gonna make those moves. They not gonna make those sacrifices, bro. They just ain't gonna do it. Y'all see it and y'all wanna live it. Man, I just increased my price to $40 for a regular men's service. After 36 years, you mean to tell me you gonna come out of school with 50, 60? Where you gonna be at in 20 years or 10 if that?
Right.
You feel me? With that type of intro, I'm expecting the bells and the whistles. I'm expecting almost perfection. But these dudes aren't giving us that. They just saying what everybody else saying. I'm living this for real. You don't charge people for the mistakes that you make. You understand me? You go out and have 5, 6 kids. Yeah, it's your job to take care of them. But it's also wise. A wise man thinketh before he release. Now y'all want to charge everybody for everything that you want, you didn't get, you didn't have, or you ain't gonna get. I don't do that, man. God said this is for you. Be wise with it. If barbering's for you, you're gonna make it because you're gonna be wise with it. There's a lot of people out here that have what I call behind the scenes turmoil with this business. It's a love-hate relationship because they don't really know how to operate. They're trying to get it all out because of all the mistakes they make, and then you want to charge the clients for the mistakes you make. Right. Now, I'm not saying kids are mistakes, but if you knowingly know, then why go there?
Because they didn't count the cost initially when you lay down with somebody.
There it is. See, there's a lot of things that go into being intellectual and understanding where you're going and how you're going to get there. I didn't understand that as a youngster, but God has given me the opportunity to be that elder. You see what I'm saying? I speak through experience. I don't speak through what ifs and maybe ifs, or I ain't speaking emotionally. All this is real right here. This is the business, this is the thing that God has given me. And people, man, it's effortless to me. Some people can do this and I do it effortlessly. Not just the haircutting part. We got the products, we got the clippers. You know what I mean? I can guide young dudes through. I give anybody that needs information. I got multiple businesses outside of barbering. All of this was brought together by me doing the right thing with barbering. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of times when people get out here, they not understanding that this is a product. What people see of me out here is a product of barbering and how good I have taken care of barbering. See, God gives you things and he tells you if you don't take care of them, you'll what?
Fumble it.
You're gonna fumble your bag. You're gonna lose it, whatever. For me, I feel like a lot of these dudes is fumbling ball. They think they doing something, but they fumbling it. They making us look a little bad because our licenses are on the same conditions, the same paper. When you get them joints printed out, it's the same as the electrician, a doctor, a lawyer. You feel me? A plumber. All of them. Right. We on the same paper, on the same level, but they look at us different. Okay. Boy, and tell you, hey Courtney, I'm hustling hair. I'm a hair hustler. You see what I'm saying? If you don't understand, you cannot hustle hair. You understand what I'm saying? You cannot hustle hair. You cannot hustle hair. What if the heart surgeon came in and said, okay, Courtney, I know you got a blocked coronary, but I'm getting ready to hustle hearts, baby. We getting ready to hustle these hearts and these arteries.
No.
No, I don't
like
need
the,
you. That don't like the way that's
terminology.
no.
I don't like none of that. I need
So-
professionalism.
Okay, so we don't see very many drug dealers turn into heart surgeons. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Not many drug dealers become heart surgeons, but how many drug dealers may have a barbershop? I'm just keeping it real. You came to me for the real.
Right.
How many drug dealers get into it because they want to wash a little money, or they want to cut a little hair, keep their money, and kind of wash that into that?
Yeah.
There's a lot of that going on.
Keep the boys
Keep
off the trail a little bit.
Throw the stink off. So I'm just saying, you gotta watch who you call a barber. Some of y'all, even though you got a license, y'all ain't nothing but a cutter. Y'all just cutting hair because you don't. You definitely don't listen to the quality of the things that you may have or may not have learned when you were in school. Now, I don't mind or care how much money you charge, but they empty so much of that into the internet and into the world and into the atmosphere, you forced to deal with it. Because that's no pressure on me, because I can't spend your money.
Right.
But I'm gonna still be able to do way more than you able to do because I'm set up for it. I'm built for it. I earned it. I took care of it. So when people look at me and they want to turn their nose, he's doing this here, man. I was just sick of him. I wish he. Some of these dudes wish I go away though, bro.
Yeah, I know.
You feel me? Because I've been around for so long. I'm decades long in this. It's almost 4 decades.
Yeah.
Some of these dudes ain't even 4 decades in life,
Right.
but they got all the answers. I learn from everybody, even the young dudes that come in. But I also make sure that I let them know that I'm learning from them. Because a lot of times they ask me, yo, what's that right there? What, how'd you do that? They don't know I got that from them. I just freaked it out and made it for me.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're here for, to learn from situations. And until we start learning from this situation in barbering, meaning how to properly take care of this business, how to treat our clients, and remember, it's their money going into our account and not the vice versa. It's not our money going into their account. You feel me? It's not our money going into their account. It's their money coming into our account. We look forward to them coming to get a service from us, so we must treat them accordingly. Stop ripping your clients off. Stop thinking you Leonardo da Vinci with clippers. And I ain't saying everybody don't deserve to be. Give your client enough room to show you some love. Give your client enough room to tip you. Right now, I'm at the point where I respect tips, but I don't have to have them because I know what to do with the money. I'm gonna charge a premium, and my premium ain't your premium, because your premium is I'm trying to get it all right now. Mine's is I want to respect my client. I want the ones that are working me in to feel like they superstars too. They ain't gotta pay me like they a superstar. I'm gonna make them feel like a superstar, and then they gonna tell somebody else. They gonna bring one of their family members, or they gonna some people. I have had several clients just come to me to they see, oh man, you got great reviews or whatever. I just want to come in and check the shop out, get a cut, man, and see, if I could bring my kids in, what the atmosphere was like. I tell them, if you can't get in with me with everybody, send them to one of these other barbers in here if you can't get with me. I said, because once you come in and see what the atmosphere is like, you're like, you know what? They don't care nothing about coming in, listening to Scarface and all of that stuff and hearing all these conversations about chicks and all. They don't care nothing about that because they can listen to that in their car and they can get that in their personal life. Mm-hmm. This right here is the sanctuary. It's the lounge. It's the men's country club, and I've allowed women to enter. Mm-hmm. So now we got to really respect the situation. You see what I'm saying? So it's a lot, man. I could go on and on about these things, man. But what I want y'all to really understand is treat this business like it's a 9-to-5 job. And then you'll really see how much you can get out of it. Now I'm gonna break one thing down. This thing I'm gonna break down is if there was no real such thing as the conglomerate of barbering, professional barbering, most of us would be working for the post office, the light company, Amazon, Walmart warehouse, Target warehouse, or some of us wouldn't have a job at all. If somebody told you you could make $35 an hour, $25, $35, $40 an hour, most people would say that's a great opportunity.
Right.
As a barber, most haircuts are about 30 minutes in length. If you're not going through all that powder blowing and all that extra stuff. That's 2 haircuts in an hour. If you somebody that's got a high school diploma, maybe not even at a GED, no disrespect in either one of them. Because I got a high school diploma.
I got a high school diploma.
You see what I'm saying? But if you make $40 per haircut and you can do 2 of those per hour, that's $80 an hour. You didn't go to college. You went to trade school. And that's a good thing, but $80 an hour is some good money.
That's some good money.
And we don't have to worry about all of the pulling that out. So that's a real $80 an hour until the back end. And that's another day, another discussion. Mm-hmm. But we act like we really ain't making no money. Greed is taking over this industry. The prices are outrageous, and it's become contagious. Mm-hmm. It's like the vid. It's like COVID. Clients are trying to duck us because they don't want to pay the price, and they're not saying that we are not good. We're just overcharging. It's like what Jay-Z said about the old school rappers. He said now he's overcharging people for what they did to the cold crush. Mm-hmm. So that's like me saying, since Mr. Ron and Mr. Campbell was only getting $2-3 a haircut, then I'm gonna charge Courtney and his sons. I'm gonna overcharge them now because of what they didn't get.
Right.
No, it's a way to deliver this. Mm-hmm. You feel me? And they ain't delivering properly. And I'm saying the theys know who they are. They the people that's out here doing this crazy stuff. Oh man, I gotta have 100 a cut or 200 a cut. Yeah, some people out here that'll pay it. But what happens if the economy shrivels and it gets real super tight? Some of y'all that made a living off a falsified document. Mm-hmm. These same people that you demand this out of can't even afford your services.
Right.
So I don't think that they really think, but that's my job. That's my job, to get them something to think about.
Absolutely.
You feel me? So whenever you get through with it, the business is what it is. You who you are. And if you don't decide at some point how you're gonna maneuver going forward or take any precautions about how you proceed, you'll find yourself out of commission, out of a job, out of money, and you just plain old out of touch. So let's try to put some real thought into how we proceed in barbering, so that we can at least get some of the respect that we flush down the toilet, because we complain about why people don't respect us, and we constantly do disrespectful things to this business. Mm-hmm. They don't think it's disrespectful.
But you gotta bring respect and integrity back to barbering. The staple of the community is the barber, like you said earlier, sitting in a chair. Transformation. You cutting stress off somebody's head.
Man,
somebody,
that's real.
Free haircut going to an interview. Hey, yo, Don Potter, I got a job. I ain't got it right now. Sit in the chair, man. I got you. Because I know that I'm going to retain you. You're going to come back. You're going to spread word.
Yep.
And I just help you out.
Yep. And over the years, it's been a lot of free haircuts given away. Mm. You know what I mean? For just those reasons. Oh, man, and now it's, oh, man, time is money. But you're not thinking how this could increase you later. You're not going to get a return immediately. The term return on investment, ROI, everybody thinks that return should be immediate. Mm. It's just not like that, man. It's just not like that. So I invest in my clients, and I'm going to tell you, it was funny. I had 4 of my longest tenured clients in a barbershop, maybe about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and it's odd to have them all in. They're not all, but these are some of the dudes that I was cutting when they were in high school. They're in their 40s now, with kids. One of the guys, I have 2 daughters. He know how much I wanted to have a son, but I didn't have one. That wasn't in the cards for me, and I'm cool with that.
Right.
But guess what he did? His son is my godson. That touched me. You feel me? But that's through a relationship that I cultivated in the barbershop. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. His brother the same way. I'll say no names. He'll know who it is, but he had brain cancer. It's my brother. I met him first and then met his younger brother. Mm-hmm. But when he had his brain surgery, I just happened to be the first person out of everybody that had came in and out of that room all day. my wife and I went to see him that evening. When I walked in the room, he woke up when I walked in the room. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? So a lot of times those are the special moments for me. I live through those things because the lack of family that I have, I developed that with some of my clients. They still pay me. They don't try to shortchange me or anything, but they know they can get anything they want from me. If they need the haircut, if they ain't got the money, then all they got to do is say it. Hey, bro, we ain't even got to talk about it. But the proper etiquette from which I have been brought up in, and I say this because I've had a chance, some of these dudes don't know the legacy of barbering here in this city and how rich we are. Because they choose to stay in their own bubble. Some of them don't want to talk to guys like me. I'm a part of the legacy now.
Yeah, really.
You feel me? Like, cause I came up in a time where I can remember the old school, but I ain't fell off. And that's the problem. I stay in touch, cause I get out here and I go talk to these young dudes. I go to these schools and I teach them the point of emphasis from where I stand, because you're gonna have people come in there and tell you how to, let's get to the money, all of that. I'm gonna tell you about how to get the money properly, but I'm also gonna tell you how to retain the money. I'm gonna tell you how to increase the money. And everything doesn't have to be increased through the barbershop. It can be a product of the barbershop, but it doesn't have to be directly related on every level as you move forward. Some people get what I call tunnel vision. When I was younger, I had tunnel vision, but like I said, it didn't take me very long to realize that this is what I wanted to do, and if I had to let go of some things to make this increase, you see what I'm saying? There's levels to the weight that's on you in a balloon. It's the difference between 2 pounds on whether a balloon will lift it off or stay on the ground. If you got one of them big hot air balloons, that's the difference in that mug. It could be, you could have, say that mug could say 160 pounds before it'll lift off. Even at 158, that mug ain't gonna lift off, but once it hit 160, it's gone.
Out of there.
It's out of there. So for me, my goal is to keep people plugged in to the generation that they weren't a part of. It's like history books. I'm a walking history lesson because I was able to talk to Floyd's, Mr. Lord, Mr. Leon, who else was it? My man over there off Eminem's barbershop, right up here off Illinois. Me and him were Masons together. He's actually the one that helped me get my instructor's license. Oh man, I can't even think. I can't think of the name. People know. And then sometimes you draw a brain freeze. You know what I mean?
I'll throw his name down here though.
Right.
We'll get more information.
And the reason why I say these things is because in order to go somewhere, you got to know where you come from. And when I was coming through Highball's barbershop, that was one of the places where I thought he was super cool because I went to school with his brother and his sisters. And I knew I would go past his shop and just watch his whole staff cut hair. Because they were elite. That was one of the first young black barbershops in the city. When I came along, I didn't really have all the tools, but I had the toolbox. The toolbox was the history. And sometimes I had to think back, this ain't what I'm supposed to be doing. And people, when I decided to flip and start doing properly, I lost a lot of people because they were so accustomed to me doing things improperly. So once I decided to do that, it was just about letting all the, here we go, I'm like a preacher in this one, letting all that weight go, because this balloon is ready to take off.
Big facts.
You feel me? So that's what I'm trying to show these people. They're holding on to a lot of things that don't have anything directly to do with barbering, and they think that that is going to help them to increase in barbering. But until you let go of something, until I let go of wanting to be the best battle barber, thinking I was the best barber in the world, I'm not. But I'm probably one of the most consistent ones that you're gonna run into. You feel me? I started to understand, and then I saw myself starting to rise. And that's when people saw me starting to rise. Even friends around me started to see me rise. So when your friends start to see you take off, and you know that's extra weight, they don't even have a balloon of their own. When they see you finally say, I'm gonna do this for me, I'm gonna go ahead and take off. And when they start seeing the bottom of them Adidas,
They want to try
and grab at you and try and, nah, bro, get off here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go doing what I'm out of here. And then that's where that extra weight starts to fall off, and you start going higher, because some of them people, they really don't have no real intention for you. They're not in your life other than to distract you.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let the game fool you. Don't let the game distract you, because a lot of the times it's all about subtraction. You know what I mean? You'll start to add and multiply once you start subtracting the wrong things from your life, subtracting the wrong things from your business intentionally.
Right. I always tell my kids, it's okay to quit in life.
Definitely.
Because I'm a quitter.
Yeah.
I quit hanging around dumb people. I quit doing stupid things. I quit hanging around stupid
people.
In general, I quit doing dumb things. So it's okay to be a quitter. Yeah. And then, like you said, to piggyback off of too, to me, there's 3 types of people you'll come in life with. A confidant, which would be somebody who will get up out of the bed at 4 a.m. in the morning to bail you out of jail. Mm-hmm. Or hopefully you ain't in jail, but or just if you in the hospital, if something happened, they're gonna come up, they're gonna be there for you no matter what. Yeah. Or you may have a comrade with somebody who will line up with you to fight against another enemy. Yeah. Or a constituents, like, okay, me, I was a huge weed smoker. So I would have people surround me all the time, but they weren't into me. Yeah. They were a constituent. They were into what the weed, but they weren't into me. So when I quit doing certain things, everybody started falling off, and then that balloon took off, man.
There
so
you go.
Yeah, all day.
That's it. And life is a beautiful thing for me. I've learned to deal with what God give me and not to be envious of what other people have. Mm-hmm. I have passions for multiple things. My wife says I'm always doing a lot, but she doesn't understand. I'm a Gemini, and a lot of things run through my head, and I'm dealing with like 2, 3, 4, 5 people at one time. And that's the way I feel, because sometimes I'll be over here doing this, and then I'll be over there doing that, and then she said, calm down. Mm. And that's what some of us need in our life, is we need someone that can balance us out. Mm. And since and she's a big part of what's balanced me out over the past 20, we've been together 25 years, but we've been married almost 23, May the 21st.
Hey, congratulations, man.
So it's a life-altering experience. But you have to take all the components to be your best. These dudes ain't giving their best, bro. Mm. They not giving their best at this. And I can say this, because I done seen some quality barbers. You're gonna find your best barbers aren't your best shop owners. Mm. They too concerned about them that they forget about their team. Mm. You see what I'm saying? For me, I told you, when I said there are no more selfish thinking, I'm gonna focus on the business. I stopped chasing trophies and different things and those type of accolades. Give you a classic of why I stopped chasing those accolades, and this was after I stopped chasing them, because I took all my trophies and stuff home when I was, in the midst of like getting to the business. Yeah. I said, I'm gonna take these mugs to the crib. So I had a little shelf in the crib. I had my little stuff sitting on, had some of them sitting on the little sofa table behind my sofa, a little Taj Mahal. Mm-hmm. I was at home with my kids one day, and a big storm came through. I heard a big old apartment shit. I was like, oh, the apartment was on fire. Because I keep thinking, I'm smelling pizza. We put some pizza in the oven. I said, well, who turned the oven back on? Right. So we just sitting there, and something said, get up. So I got up. And I could see, like, you know how you can't see flames, but you can see the reflection of flames? Mm-hmm. I opened up my patio door, and I opened it up and walked out onto the sidewalk, and I turned around, and the apartment was on fire. Guess what happened? All those trophies burned up. They were good, were they to me, but for something to look at. But my career spanned longer. My barbershops have spanned longer than those trophies. So me letting go of them was the first step, and God showing me that they meant nothing to me was the second step. You see what I'm saying? He was like, you don't need these to define you. I can talk about them because most of these dudes know. My reputation supersedes me. When I was younger, that was about that life. You wasn't going to beat me. I'm going to beat you, get the money, get the trophy, and I'm going to get the conversation. Because I'm going to tell you, yeah, you was there. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So live off of that. Live off the memory. So with him telling me that was something else that I said, you know what, I'm glad I don't do that. Not that and understand, competition barbers, OG ain't saying it's bad, and I'm saying don't get locked in. Don't let that define you. Don't let that 16 or 15 or 50 or 100 times award winning anything it's going to give you and people something to talk about. But how much are you going to really benefit from that if you're not actually working on the craft, the game, the business, the part of it that's really going to compensate you? Because I really know the truth about battling. You really ain't making no money. If you ain't from that town, even now, even if you ain't from that town, you're paying for travel, you're paying for lodging, you're paying for food, you're paying to dress your model 9 times out of 10. You're probably gonna feed your model. That little $1,000 is down to $200. And then they give you a little $100 plastic trophy that can burn up in any situation.
Yeah.
There's other ways to take yourself to another level. You just have to be willing to be open. I was willing to be open about it, and God has blessed me over the past 36 years. And understand this. That's my tenure as a barber. I've been a shop owner for 31 years, going on 32. This January the 12th will be 32 years in business. Now, y'all can talk about what you want to talk about, but run tell that.
Right. Because most businesses only a 5-year lifespan before they crash out. So 36 years.
36 years as a barber, 31 in business, and my own mother said it would last. But she's my biggest supporter, besides of my wife.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? So life is, man. I just wanted to drop this on y'all so that y'all can get the perspective, not just from an OG, but from an older brother that's been doing this. And I understand the whole game. Some of y'all know I know this. I don't know everything, but y'all know for like 31 years in business, I know something. So if you want to put yourself in a situation where you can benefit going forward, you need to find out what the blueprint is. You feel me? You need to take that and reestablish those things and put yourself in line with what's for you, and quit chasing those things that are for somebody else. And if you do that, I guarantee you, your balloon gonna rise.
Down P, man. Listen, this is Gentleman's Corner. I'm gonna say this too. It's always best to listen to somebody who took the stairs in life and not the elevator.
Yeah.
Hey, until next time, we might have to do a part 2, because I know there's a ton of more gems he can drop on y'all. Man, treasure chest. Some of the names you mentioned, like Kenny, Angie, all these individuals, man, is Angie still alive?
You know what? I think she is. She had a stroke a few years back, and we checked in on her a little bit, and she was okay. But I don't know how well she's doing. But shout out to Angie.
Shout out to her. Shout out to everybody, man, that you mentioned. Listen, we ain't gonna hold y'all up, man. I hope that y'all really appreciated, man, the gems that was dropped, man, by my guy OG Don Potter, man. Until next time, man. I'm Dapper.
Don P.
We'll see y'all later, man.
Yeah.
Peace.
Peace.